Three of the most powerful Pokemon that we've ever seen in Pokemon GO are going to be in raid battles during this week for Pokemon GO Fest. And I have to tell you, you want to be very well prepared for these three bosses, because if you are not bringing the right counters and if you do not have enough trainers, you are going to struggle against each of them. I'm going to be telling you how you can defeat Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, and Mega Rayquaza in this video, so let's get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon GO video. Today we're going to be covering three of the most powerful Pokemon currently in Pokemon GO, and that is, of course, Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, and Mega Rayquaza. Now, all three of these raid bosses are extremely difficult if you are not well prepared, but if you bring the right counters and you have enough people, you will have no problem taking them down. Now, I've already covered how to defeat Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon on my YouTube channel, but I'm going to give you a quick refresher. But when it comes to Mega Rayquaza, it is a brand new boss for a vast majority of players who did not attend any of the in-person GO Fest events. Maybe you were able to take part in some raids through remote raid passes, but if you want to collect Mega Energy for this Mega Evolution, you will want to do them in person, and you will want to make sure you're taking them on as much as you can. And of course, not all raids are going to fill up to a full lobby of 20, so you will want to make sure you have the right counters prepared, so that in the case that you have very minimal trainers in that raid group, you will still be able to take it down. But first, real quick, let's go over Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. Both of these Pokemon are also going to be available, and you will want to make sure you collect their Primal Energy, considering that their Primal Reversion forms are some of the most powerful Pokemon that you could use currently in raid battles, as well as in PvP whenever they are available. Let's start with Primal Kyogre. This Pokemon is a pure water type, which means it's only going to be weak against attacks that have a grass typing or an electric typing. It's also going to have resistances to steel type attacks, fire type attacks, water type attacks, and ice type attacks. The perfect IVs for Primal Kyogre is going to be 2351 and 2939 if it is weather boosted. Of course, considering that it is a pure water type, it's going to be weather boosted by rainy weather. If you want to secure a victory against Primal Kyogre raids, you will want to make sure your raid group has at least 7 to 10 trainers who are at least level 35. If you want to challenge yourself with the least number of trainers as possible, then you could potentially do it with 3 to 5 trainers that are at least level 50. The absolute best counters against Primal Kyogre are going to be Mega Sceptile, Mega Manectric, Kartana, Shadow Raikou, Xurkitree, and Zarude. In terms of budget counters, you could also include Mega Venusaur, Tangrowth, Electivire, and Magnezone. Make sure you have a team that consists of any of these Pokemon, but I highly suggest you go with whatever weather boost that will benefit you. Like if it is sunny outside, then make sure you go with a team of pure grass types. If it is rainy outside, make sure you go with a bunch of electric. Next up, let's move on to Primal Groudon. Now, this Pokemon actually gains a type when you Primal Revert it. It's going to have a type combination of ground and fire, which means it's going to have a double weakness to water types and a regular weakness to ground types. It is also going to be double resistant to electric type attacks and regular resists to bug, fairy, fire, poison, and steel. The perfect IVs for this Pokemon are going to be exactly the same as Primal Kyogre. 2351 if it is not weather boosted, and 2939 if it is weather boosted. Of course, Primal Groudon is going to be weather boosted by just one weather type, and that is going to be sunny weather. Now, in terms of the amount of trainers that you will need in order to defeat Primal Groudon, it's going to be very similar to Primal Kyogre. However, considering that it does have a double weakness to water, you may be able to pull it off with even less trainers. But if you want to secure a victory, 7 to 10 trainers that are at least level 35 is definitely the way to go. If you want to challenge yourself, 3 to 5 trainers that are at least level 50 will get the job done. Now, in terms of the absolute best counters that you can bring to Primal Groudon, they include Primal Kyogre, Mega Swampert, Shadow Swampert, Shadow Gyarados, Regular Kyogre, and Shadow Feraligatr. In terms of budget counters, you can go with Mega Swampert, Mega Gyarados, Regular Swampert, Regular Feraligatr, as well as Mega Kingler. Every single one of these Pokemon are going to be extremely powerful against Primal Groudon, and that is of course because of their water type attacks. If you're bringing Swampert, for example, then make sure you're going with Hydro Cannon. If you're going with Kyogre, make sure it has Origin Pulse. Basically, you will want to deal as much water type damage as you possibly can against Primal Groudon. Don't even bother bringing any other typing like ground types, just make sure you pack your team with just nothing but water. Alright, now that we've covered both Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon, now let's talk about Mega Rayquaza. Again, this boss is extremely difficult if you are not prepared, but if you bring the specific right counters, you will have no problem at all. The type for Mega Rayquaza is going to be exactly the same as its non-Mega Evolved form. It's going to have the type combination of Dragon and Flying, which means it's going to have a double weakness to Ice-type attacks and regular weaknesses to Dragon, Fairy, and Rock. It's also going to have double resistances to both Grass and Ground, and regular resistances to Bug, Fire, Fighting, and Water. The perfect IVs for this Pokemon are going to be 2191, and if it's weather boosted, you will want one that is 2739. Both of the types for Mega Rayquaza are going to be weather boosted by just one weather type, and that is of course windy weather. Considering that windy weather is super rare compared to other weather boosts, I would typically say that you shouldn't count on getting a weather boosted Mega Rayquaza, but you might get lucky and pick yourself up one that is weather boosted. Now, to secure a win against Mega Rayquaza, you don't necessarily have to bring as much trainers as you typically would for Primal Kyogre or Primal Groudon. That is of course because Mega Rayquaza is a lot squishier than both of those Pokemon, and it does have a double weakness to Ice. In order to secure a win, I would suggest going with a raid party that has at least 6 to 9 trainers that are at least level 35. And if you want to challenge yourself with the least number of trainers as possible, 3 to 5 trainers at least level 50 is going to give you the win. Now in terms of the absolute best counters that you can bring against Mega Rayquaza, it really comes down to just pure Ice types. The best of the best Ice types that you can bring include Mega Glalie, Mega Abomasnow, Shadow Mamoswine, Shadow Mewtwo with Ice Beam, regular Mamoswine, and Shadow Articuno. Now in terms of budget counters, specifically counters that don't include legendaries or shadow Pokemon, you could just simply go with your best of the best Ice types. The top ones that I suggest of course include Mamoswine, Weavile, Glaceon, and Walrein. Overall, Mega Rayquaza is pretty straightforward. As long as you're bringing Ice types, you should have no problem taking it down. But do be careful because it may come with Flying type attacks, which means it's going to deal double damage against Abomasnow. So if you're going to be using that Mega, do keep in mind that there are chances that it will get knocked out in just 1 or 2 charge attacks. Alright, and there you have it. These were my raid guides for Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, as well as Mega Rayquaza. I really suggest you do as many of these raids as you can this week, mainly because you will want to make sure you collect as much energy as you possibly can, because there's no telling when they will make a return. Especially for Mega Rayquaza, if you are able to pick up a Meteorite this weekend through Pokemon Go Fest, then you will want to make sure you have enough Mega Energy to continuously use that Mega Evolution. Mega Rayquaza is one of the best generalists in the game by far right now, and you will want to make sure you are able to Mega Evolve it whenever it is possible. And yeah, with that said, that's going to be it for this video. Now, if there was a tip that I completely missed regarding any of these 3 raid bosses, make sure you share them in the comments so that we can all be best prepared. And also share your thoughts regarding these bosses as well. And thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. If you found it to be helpful and informative, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You all make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way within Pokemon Go, like with remote raids, then do consider joining me on Patreon. Also, if you want to support my channel non-monetarily, you could always do so by following me on social media. I'm on the following platforms, and my handle is @Jinsula. Thank you so much for all of you who are already following me. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.